NRM
Yes.
were accommodative.
Yeah.
Even when you come late, they give you front seats. You see the
shoot
speaker
question.
yesterday close to the NRM. She's now a speaker. The deputy speaker was FDC. He joined the NRM. Is now the deputy speaker.
Okay.
That's the NRM for you. Let him take charge.
Okay.
Yeah.
But those little when you
Yes.
saw the skirmish that happened in Kawempe.
Yeah.
I think that picture will go in
Yeah,
the history
for
of our country,
centuries of
where there's a group of young men and women wearing overalls, red overalls and beret, and a group of security personnel wearing black overalls
yeah.
and hooded and well guns.
Yes, they have no IDs.
And there's a whole push and pull
Yeah.
situation. Bones are broken, limbs are shattered, women wailing. It was
Unacceptable.
unprecedented,
Yeah.
though not surprising.
Yeah.
We are heading in the 2026 election. Are we expecting more of the same, or should we expect more of the same?
We already have more of the same. You see, I think on the 21 days ago, I was here and I said the UPDF has done totally nothing. Because you see, the JAT is an organ of the UPDF. It is more or less a subset of the UPDF. And what we saw on that day, innocent and actually unarmed, innocent young men and girls and so forth being beaten and assaulted. It has no space in any democratic state. And it only speaks to the fact that we do not have any hope at all of a free and fair election. And I don't know where Madam Patricia is going, because those scenes there should always remind her that I'm going nowhere. The NRM is not going to allow you to win. You are not going to convene and so forth. It is what we saw there on that day. And for many, I think for hundreds of years to come, it will be a constant reminder of how dictatorial Seven is, of how a coward his son is, because it is a recipe of bad things to come in 2026. It is on a what? It is on a can I say a rehearsal of the violence that we expect in the forthcoming election. Up to now, I don't know what those boys have done. Just being in red or being told to stop and you don't, it is not an offense, because this is election time. The temperatures are high. Okay, these boys were not doing anything wrong, because under the Constitution, Article 29, they have a right to associate at their party's headquarters and move to support their candidate. And just I think also a month ago, the members of the PLU had done the same thing, but they were never beaten. Okay, so now that exercise of double standards by the state is unacceptable, and I think time and time again we have come here and stated in very categorical terms that the state and the government and the NRM and the First Family are all fused into one. The UPDF that we see here, the so-called Uganda People's Defense Forces, and I will say it again, is nothing else apart from the First Family Defense Forces. It has no interest of the state at heart. All that it has to do is to abide by the unlawful commands of Museveni and his son. Now, his son, who has feared to resign from the CDF and participate in active politics. Okay? Now, the UPDF can be allowed to be partisan. Because if you say I attacked the officers of NUP, you don't have such warrant. We don't know what you found there or what you wanted to find there. And then you go to X and then you say, yes, I found their condoms and so forth. That is extremely unprofessional. And if I were the CDF, really, I would cry. Yeah, I would cry. And it is also a shame on the UPDF that they have failed to rein in on the CDF. His actions cannot be allowed to stand. And every one of us, the 46.1 million Ugandans, must take steps to ensure that at no time, General Muhoozi, actually, that at no time should we ever allow a person like General MK to be elected the president of the Republic of Uganda. Because he's a total embarrassment and he's going to take us 100 years down where we came from. Colonialism, slavery, and so forth. So it is incumbent on all of us to ensure that a person who does not respect the supreme law of the land should never be allowed to step on the floor of State House, because he is not an asset to the people of Uganda. He's instead a liability which should never be allowed to step there. Because as a very land person, I mean, of course, land in the management of the forces and so forth, a person who went to Sandhurst, I think he must have an idea of what human rights is, okay? But he seems not to know that people have rights. He does not care about international friendship. I think all he cares is about his power and greed for power. So for him, it is power, power, power. And people like here who follow him, they should guide him. That man, if you want to delve into active politics, resign from the UPDF, form or join a party, or become independent, and we all struggle for the betterment of the state. Because he as a person can never be allowed to be bigger than the UPDF and the state of the Republic of Uganda.
Okay, thank you. Moses, I think you will come in at this point.
Oh, very good.
We've had a couple of by-elections. We know in northern Uganda we had by-elections there when we lost Cecilia Ogwal, or Patrick Okabe passed away in eastern Uganda. I think we had...
it was the dad.
Yes, the dad
of
Patrick passed away. And a couple of other, including Moro, where the former where Olanya passed away.
By fact, the son is my hobby. We are studying together at law school.
Yes. Now you can see that we've had a couple of by-elections. This is and people are being shot, limbs are being broken, and the whole image that we saw of a confrontation between the security forces and members of the National Unity Platform, knowing that this comes at a backdrop of a search of the headquarters of the National Unity Platform. Isn't this embarrassing you as managers of the state?
Thank you very much, Comrade Banyaji, once again for this wonderful opportunity. But before I proceed, I want to comment on two things. One, I do not wish our lovely mothers and women outside there a happy Women's Day. So I want to really wish them a happy Women's Day. Then two, I want to comment on the submission of my brother Wenje. And one in his submission is that he focuses more on personality than ideas. He attacks people instead of their opinions or their views. And I find it very lacking and not good. Always attack, if you are to attack somebody's opinions or views and ideas than attacking the personality of an individual. for example, is saying that General MK is very incompetent. I do not know what they had the no, and I think when you are speaking, you see my problem with you, a council, moreover my senior.
Speak.
You know, when somebody is speaking, you
but
listen.
what is wrong with saying the general?
I can interject. I can interject.
No,
yes.
No, I was not interjecting. I would have interjected.
Let's allow Mshugushugu speak.
Okay,
yes,
but
you
my
will
question
have
to
time
you,
to rebut. You can
yes,
have time to rebut.
my question to you, perhaps.
You cannot say that
Yes.
somebody is incompetent
Why not?
when somebody has shown the whole world of his capacity to deliver on assignments.
Which
For
assignment?
example, a case in point, we had a standoff between Rwanda and Uganda. It was that only gentleman is calling incompetent that restored the lost hope. That is competence, my brother. You have seen how he has transformed the UPDF. For example, the parade, that time which was commanded by Kano Akiki, it went all over the whole world. Was here, everybody praising his good leadership skills that has transformed the parade. Look at the army today.
What
People
is
have
it?
gotten who have been serving without promotions. They have now been promoted just yesterday. that is not incompetence, my brother.
You see,
But that's not the discussion of the day. That's not the
the
discussion
competence
of
that
the
we
day.
talk about
Yes.
is the competent to be.
Then
I
too-
mean, is
then
he
too-
competent
Then too,
to be the leader
Wenje,
of the people of
Wenje,
Uganda? You
Wenje,
see,
the next time
Uganda
Wenje
is
will-
not an army.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let's,
Be
Mr.
humble.
Bwenje, let's
Be
allow
humble,
Mshugushugu.
be civil. Civility requires that when a colleague is submitting, you listen, even when you may not agree with his views.
Please.
You'll have time to rebut. Then the other issue he mentioned is about that there are no hopes of free and fair elections in Uganda, and he was pitting our sister Patricia. My friend, you have you forgotten your constitutional history? We have had regular elections here. Peaceful, but not excellent, my brother. And there is a reason as to why they are not excellent. He is aware this sister of mine, her political party came into power because of an election. It did not fall from heaven, colleagues. If there were no elections, your party wouldn't be in power now as the leading opposition party. So therefore, but the problem, what annoys me is that there are some gullible people out there who may believe what he's saying. But we are here to clarify those some of those few things.
Back to the
But
matter, I think.
As I get to the matter, is that one, we must understand the history of all these fracas. Recently, you saw Bob Wine and NUP parading a gang of militias. You saw or you did not see? I am asking the moderator, not you. Did you see, moderator?
I saw a parade that was
Yes, of people-
drills
of
at the
people-
headquarters.
Of people putting on military like wear, with even
Insignia.
pips.
Yeah.
What are they planning? What are they building?
Yes.
A militia. You want to create a government within a government, and the man was moving around the parade trying to look to do what, to be saluted and to be doing all that. That's no sense. Only that these young Ugandans do not understand what this man is building. They are going to fall into shit, and and this is what is happening.
Yes.
Then the other issue, issue I
please.
want to advance is that you must be aware that the role of the state, for you are lawyers, you people, the role of the state is to make sure there is peace and security in the country. The cardinal law.
Bwenje,
Okay, fine.
The
Okay.
cardinal law.
Let's allow
The
Mr.
cardinal law.
Mshugushugu.
I'll make a rejoinder.
Yes. you
By
make
the
a
way,
rejoinder.
the state, there is many people outside there do not differentiate between the state and government. The state is a coercive apparatus that must do whatever it takes to make sure the government stays in power. And it cannot be there to look at things as they go berserk. It has, for example, the recent when they are beaten, when it is alleged that they were beaten, they were going. This is in Kampala. They were going to hold the processions to cause traffic jam, to distract normal businesses. As a lawyer, you know that whereas you are enjoying your rights, you shouldn't infringe on any other person's rights. So you wanted the state to cross the arms and look at them like this, as they cause jam, as they distract business in the central business district of Kampala. It has to come in and say, please, this is the order. By the way, we have a body that is responsible for organizing these elections, the Uganda Electoral Commission,
The Independent Electoral Commission.
as per Article 60 of the Constitution. When it is mandated to organize the election, it gives what we call rules and regulations to candidates to follow. That these are the rules of the game. But your people do not want to follow those rules, but they are defiant.
Mr. RDC, we
Yes.
saw a video of the NRM candidate, Madame Farida
Nambi.
holding a procession where she had caterpillars and a mammoth crowd doing a procession in the exact spot the NUP candidate
No, that's not true.
was trying to do a procession from. We all saw that.
No, not true. That's not true.
What is the truth?
The truth is that she was with some a manageable number of people moving with her. Not this one. This one they ferry people
You see,
from Iganga,
you see.
from Busia, all these by Yaye.
We
and they
cannot-
want to
you
come
see.
and Kampala and cause
Ah, you see
confusion
now?
and
You see
commotion.
now?
Do you know why? The reason is that they want to play what we call gallery politics.
No.
Then
They must
have
him
their
something.
stars,
They
so
must
the
him-
government does not
Okay,
like
okay.
so
They must him
No,
something.
wait,
so they
wait.
get what we call sympathy vote.
They must give him something.
Sympathy vote.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
No,
Let
they
me
must give him
no,
something.
No, wait.
But-
How
wait,
does he
Council-
define a Muyai?
Council Bwenje.
How does he define a
Mr.
Muyai?
Mushugu, I want
Why
to
don't you allow me to
Mushugu, thank you.
Given time to rebut.
Thank you. Let me bring in Patricia, who is a member of the NUP. Wait,
You gave him 10 minutes.
wait. We have Patricia here, who belongs to the party you're talking about. You're a member of the National Resistance Movement, even when you were a civil servant.
Well, I would like to thank you.
Put it on record, you don't?
I am not a member
Of what?
of the NRM as of now, but I sympathize with it.
Okay.
Well
Okay,
stated.
we have a member of the National Unity Platform, Patricia Kenyanji. Patricia, one, you're breeding a militia, giving them red overalls, giving them pips, and giving them possession of only a monopoly of the UPDF and the armed forces. They are wearing boots that are only worn by the UPDF. They are peeping their shoulders. They are up on drugs, marijuana, and the rest. They are
By the way, there was a
so
video of
abrasive
people
and confrontational to the state apparatus.
they don't want to play to the rules.
You as leaders within the party, are you only sacrificing these young men and women to be killed at the hands of the state because of this very dangerous it could be how you've allowed it to be, that they can go face off with the state?
Well, thank you, our coordinator, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak about that particular analogy. Still, I would pose a question. These people were in their premises. They were not gunned. They didn't have any military. They didn't have any guns. They were just parading the way UPDF people parade. But for them, they be having their guns aside. So I don't see why His Excellency can be intimidated by just putting on an overall, which is harmless. And I would like to also clear the air. I personally have faced some resistance. I put my posters in the village, and people are actually, the NRM people are actually the ones who are removing those posters, saying this is not meant to be here. The NUP is not supposed to be in Ibanda. It's not. This is our area. This is a no-go zone for NUP. And I'm like, what shows like NUP shouldn't be this side? We are also people. Actually, government should be happy that we are from opposition. Opposition, we are not your enemies. We are actually helping you to see things clearly. We are not here to fight. I was even disappointed, completely disappointed in how government dragged those people. Even girls were there, even women were there, but they are being treated like matoke. Even cows are not being beaten the way they were beating those girls. I was completely disappointed, and I asked myself, for them going to Kawepe, going around, where did they bring a distortion there? Our Excellency, His Excellency was here moving around. Didn't he cause commotion? How comes he was given that free passage to move around?
Has right of way.
Let's allow Patricia.
How comes he was given that free passage to move around?
Let's have Patricia.
And this person was just going to submit his what, and he was being taken as someone who has caused commotion. Businesses are not moving up and down. This is where it is very much questionable. We as NUP, we are not here to fight. We are still your brothers. We are still your sisters. Just accept our analogies, accept our ideologies, and work on them.
We saw young women being battered. There are women who are presented before court, and they were literally raped, Moses. They were beaten to pulp. We have a young lady who recorded himself saying, how can the president go to Shema to monitor a few piglets with using about billions of shillings? That lady is in jail for remanded.
But,
Yes.
Do you know it is illegal to annoy a person of a president? It is Article 98. So I don't remember the subsection. But it's illegal to annoy the person of the president.
So how do you know that he was annoyed?
Where is the distinction? How would you draw the line?
How do you go on your social handle and start ridiculing a person of the president that is using billions? Is she sure that she was using billions to monitor a piglet?
No, but you see, is she right to be concerned about where her money as a taxpayer is going?
Next time when you want me to hear, you should tell this man maybe first get out, I submit, then he comes back. Because he's in discipline. Okay. And it's the discipline of the position we are talking about. Of some of the opposition people, not all. Like Kashi is disciplined. But you look at Bwenji, very indisciplined, very chaotic. And these are the people you want
if the young lady tasks the president, and especially the handlers of the president, that the taxpayers' money that you burn up to move all the way from Entebbe to Western Uganda to supervise a few projects whose value does not equate to how much was spent on the president to supervise those projects.
But my friend,
isn't it,
my friend, the president,
right that she would question some of
president
that?
commissioned a presidential skilling hub. Many of our young people are going to get the skills. They are going later to be employed. The president visited his people to know how they are doing. He met all the leaders in Bushenyi to understand how they are feeling and what are the feelings of their people they are leading. And you are saying the president is wasting taxpayers' money? Do you know I think it is Article 98, the president is charged of the welfare of the people that he leads by constitution. So coming to check on them how they are doing and how best he can intervene to make their lives better, you are calling it wastage of taxpayers' money? That's being that's idiocracy and suffering from secondary ignorance.
Okay, thank you. Musa Tukwatanuse, we know certainly that your leader of PLU went on his social media handles and jubilated of the caning, the roughing up, and the jailing, the maiming of members of the NUP. Is this now going forward going to be the method of dealing with the NUP?
My brother Banyaji, our dear listeners, first of all, I want to inform Ugandans that one of the challenges personally I'm seeing is that we always look at the one side of the story and we don't always focus at the other side. And that has affected us greatly in most times. That's why the nation always faces now negative publicity in most of the media houses. So what I want to say is that if you have monitored NUP right away from its initiation to date, they have always, their methods of work have always been violent and always exciting the public, and even always forcing the forces to take an action. You remember there is a time in Kampala, all videos are there on social media handles, and even if we would play it there. All videos are always there. When NUP supporters would find NRM people putting on NRM t-shirts, they cane them, they push them. Those videos were there. And I remember one time the head of state made a statement that these people of the NUP are taking us to the other side of the game where we like. If they know they can sustain it, let them continue. But if they know they don't sustain, let them stop. And if they don't stop, they will not like the other side of the coin. And indeed, it's what is happening. NRM people, like the NUP people, claim that they have rights to enjoy their party and the privileges of the party, putting on t-shirts of the party. They should also allow NRM people to be the same. Kampala is not for opposition. Kampala is for all Ugandans. NRM people and NUP people have the same rights. So why should NUP people think they are exceptional? And on the other side also, I want Ugandans to understand, I've always quoted this. Article 43(1) of the Constitution puts it clear that in the enjoyment of your rights and freedoms, you are not allowed to disrupt other people's rights or public interest. Yes, you are making a procession to your rally, but is it really fair in such a business center for you to bring millions of people trying behind and block the roads, disrupt people's businesses, disrupt people's movements?
I don't think that is true.
It is very true. Actually, I want also to comment from Bob Wine himself. He said it is on his X handle, check there. He said, I have first gathered my team at the secretariat and I've given them orders. Now we are setting off for Kawempe. Now I asked myself, if you really know you have support in Kawempe, why do you have to fail people from all over the country to take them to Kawempe? I think the by-election is for Kawempe, not the Ugandans. Because if it was the case, by now I would be in Kampala campaigning for the lady. But we know NRM support in Kampala is there and it is enough to make our candidate win. That's why we have to focus in other areas. So why is Bob Wine failing people from all over the country, gathering them at at the NUP offices, giving them orders, then after he releases them to go and disrupt? And also, my brother, on the issue of the security, yes, people say they were parading, they never had guns, they were not they never had any military attire. But the question is, the biggest question is, why is it that they are parading in such a manner and also putting on uniforms that some things. In fact, one thing I want to remind Ugandans is that when you try to read the history of Uganda, there was a time when Uganda only had one president. If you could call yourself a president, you would either face three things: you go to exile, or you are killed, or you are imprisoned. But now you can hear my sister here has said His Excellency the President Bob Wine. People say our president, and nobody touches them.
And there are any Ugandans that are in exile, Mr. Musa Twatans, as we speak. Kakwenza is in exile. Stella Nyanzi is in exile. Justice.
The question is very simple, my brother. Are they in exile because of calling themselves, or people calling them presidents? Because we know Bob Wine, everybody calls him the president. Actually, all NUP supporters call Bob Wine our president, His Excellency the President. Now can the country have two presidents? Okay. But because of the democracy that prevails now, because of the good leadership of His Excellency the President Museveni, people can call their other leaders whom they are interested in presidents, and things go. Nobody touches them. So that's what I want Ugandans to first appreciate. Let's look at the sides of the coin. Don't judge the other side when this side is also wrong.
Yes, those did it.
See, when we come on studio, we should be extremely single-minded. We should be extremely single-minded in the pursuit of the truth. And when a person comes on TV and says, Baby Wine had many people, and then Nambi had had a very small number. Now, the question of the day is, does the Parliamentary Elections Act stipulate the maximum number of people who should attend a rally? No. No. You see, we are making allusion to the word militia. And I want to give a definition of the same. What according to the Oxford Online Dictionary, one of the connotations of that word is a military force that engages in rebel or terrorist activities in opposition to a regular army. Now, is NUP a rebel organization? I'm asking a question to the Ankara DC. No. Now, answer now. Is it a rebel organization? No, I'm asking you. No, is NUP a rebel outfit? Is it a terrorist organization?
Let me answer that very question.
Let's stop for a break. Let's link up in the second hour of the show. Don't touch your radio. We'll be right back. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. Real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
We're back. It's 2 minutes past 10 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, good friends. My name is Wesige Banyaji, and I want to appreciate all of you that are locked in. I'm very sure the people of Shema, Bushenyi, where the president was assessing the impact of the PDM. You're listening to the show. The people of Kavare, Rukunjiri, Ntungambo, Ryantonde, Isinjiro, where Omujugujugu was just a deputy RDC recently, and Uganda, where my good friend Council Deus Didit Bwenje and Patricia Kenyanje come from, and all these other places. Kasese, we appreciate you so much. But those that are catching the show online on cruisefm.com/stream, you're doing good, and you're the MVPs of the show. I want to appreciate those that call in and send us the feedback on our topic of discussion. Don't hesitate to do the same today on cruisefm.com, on 912 Cruise FM on X. That's where we put the topic of discussion, and on Facebook, 91.2 Cruise FM. You'll be able to join the conversation. The numbers to call 0752 912 912 and 780 912 910. Creative Dicto Media is doing the broadcast on Cruise TV, and we want to appreciate them very much. Before we went for the break, we were talking about the events that have culminated and engulfed this whole by-election in Kawempe North. And why we've chosen to talk about Kawempe, not because there's not so much that is happening in Western Uganda, it's because we are gearing up for the 2026 election. Literally at the end of this year, we shall be all having the NRM primaries. All these different political parties will be holding their internal elections, and then we shall have the elections in January next year. And with what we saw between the state and members of the national interplatform, it kind of samples us of what we should expect ahead of us. How can we prepare better? How does the law and the rule of law and constitutionalism be respected, even when the stakes are high and everyone has different interests? We know we have a CDF who is always out to make statements and we're trying to assess and discuss of how to deal with this entire situation. The team with me in studio is Patricia Kenyanji, who is from Ivanda South, and I have Omujugujugu Moses, who is the assistant RDC from Bara District. Dedit Bwenje is an advocate of the High Court, and Musa Tukwatanuse, who is a member of the Patriotic League of Uganda. Yes, Bwenje.
Yes. You see, the RDC stated that that in Uganda there's a distinction between the state and the government,
Which is true.
which is not true,
Which
because
is actually
under the Constitution, Article 98, they are all headed by one person. The president is the head of state and government.
But the president can actually go away and the state remains, even when he's head.
Yes, when?
The state is...
Exactly.
There is so much that constitutes the state.
Yes.
It could be the intelligence
see,
services,
you
it
see,
could
you
be
see,
the
you
army, the police,
You see, yes.
and literally the state infrastructure.
Yes, and that is the idea. But the reality here is that we do not see any single iota of a distinction between the state of Uganda and the government and the NRM party. Okay, it is all a fusion of one, and the bad thing, I think, and the worst of all, and which is actually an issue of national importance, is that we have a CDF who already has a side. Now, how can I, me, Wenje, a member of the opposition, but above all a citizen of the Republic of Uganda, have hope that in future, when MK is the president of Uganda, what is going to be the fate of the opposition? And any democratic state must have an opposition, and not just having an opposition in terms of the name. No, it must have an active and formidable opposition. But the character of Muhoozi it is detrimental to any democratic participation of the opposition. He sees the members of the opposition not only as rebels or as terrorists who do not want to see a better Uganda, but above all, he sees, because now how can I have hope in the UPDF? Actually, now whenever I look at a UPDF soldier, I look at an incompetent person, a biased person, a person to whom I can't run, because whenever I run to him or her, the first question is, are you NRM or not? See, and that is a bad thing of having a biased and partisan CDF, because the entire machinery of the UPDF is under him. They cannot do anything which is not pro NRM.
Okay, thank you. Before I bring you Omushugo, let me bring in Patricia. Patricia, we know certainly that women are now on the forefront of resisting the status quo. Joel Mjisha, who was a very big seater, may her soul rest in peace, would come here and, speak against bad governance. And we saw that women that were literally, beaten to pulp in this skirmish that just happened. Does that make you feel women have really moved good mileage in participation of our democracy as a country?
Well, thank you, our coordinator. I would preferably think women are being instilled in fear. Because if you see what happened in Kawempe, if you are someone who wants to join the political
space, yes,
space, you'd put your steps back and you're like, if they can do this to a fellow woman, if someone can be beaten like this, being dragged like a cow, even cows are not being dragged anymore, being dragged like a matoke, you would put your steps back and you're like, I might not be the next example. And people be taking me as an example. Even Patricia was dragged, put in Kamangali. Now she's in police. So
but this is the price that you have to pay as women. Yes. Are you willing to give up your life and put it on the line for the peace and progress of our country?
I would actually love to see women going for those positions, because if a woman is empowered, the world or the nation is also empowered. So I would encourage women to come up, let us join this political space, and let us stand for our children and for our nation.
Okay. Omujugojugu, you just heard from Deus Didit Bwenje, who has poked holes in the quality of the CDF and of how partisan he is and how fragile the state has been made because of, the fusion between NRM, the ruling party, and the state.
Now, to begin with, before I come to him, there is a big statement she has made here which needs to be emphasized in a broader and sensible way. That the political space for women here is being marginalized, is being taken away, is being squeezed out. I think that's not true. One, political empowerment in Uganda is a brainchild of the NRM. Mr. Banyaji, today, Uganda's vice president is a woman. Uganda's prime minister is a woman. Uganda's speaker is a woman. Uganda's second deputy prime minister is a woman. Uganda's first deputy prime minister is a woman in charge of East Africa, Rebecca Kadaga. And
Uganda's minister for gender is from opposition and is a woman.
Who?
Better Mong.
Who?
Betty Among
is a woman, and she's from opposition. Two, the IGG was a woman from opposition, and she was in politics. So I want to tell you, today we have women member of parliament across all the districts of Uganda, and some are women, and rather are opposition. the point I want to make here is that we cannot kill our own child. We love our child, and we will continue to breastfeed that child to grow bigger and better, and we will continue to, through the government policy of affirmative action, continue to support women in their endeavors, and there we have ably demonstrated for the past 4 decades. The other issue I want to mention about is the issue of what my brother has said of partisan UPDF. One, under Article, I think this is what's called 210 of the Constitution. No, 20. First listen what I'm going to tell.
But you are not sure of the article you're
It
citing.
is 210 about the recruitment of the UPDF that must be from all the districts of Uganda. And that it is Parliament that will legislate such matters of the UPDF. Therefore, the idea or the legal spirit behind it was to have a non-partisan army. And that's why we recruit from every district. Secondly, I have never seen any UPDF officer putting on a yellow color that I brought the NRM. If you have,
But
I have not
we have
seen
UPDF officers
have-
wearing one covering their faces, that we cannot identify them. Their name tags are not there. They are wearing black overalls.
let me ask, is it by law that the name tag must be there?
Yes.
Because
Eh?
I have a right to know the person
no.
who is arresting me.
Yes.
My friend, why don't you wait?
No, but you
But
have
you
asked the
asked the
question.
question.
I've asked you,
No.
not him. I've asked you.
No,
got for me the law.
whoever
You
has
got
the
for me law.
information can actually provide it.
But
But
on
nevertheless,
request,
is it also
But,
within the law that UPDF officers, while carrying out an operation,
But
and nevertheless,
on
is
request.
it also
But,
within the law that UPDF officers, while carrying out an operation, like we saw in Kawempe, they must cover their faces, that they cannot be recognized by
You see,
all Ugandans,
You
since
see.
they are doing their mandate
You
after
see.
all.
for Benje and maybe some few colleagues out there who do not really understand the complexity of the issue of security, they treat it as right. One is that these people have what we call the Kurabisa campaign. They want to make you be hated. So if they capture your names and everything, you will be hated. They want you to be hated. They will publish everywhere to do what. So what matters is, are they UPDF officers? Are they security officers? Are they doing the job rightly? That should be the very big question. The issue of the name, in case you ask that, may I know you, please may you identify yourself, they will actually identify themselves. And therefore, I think the issue of saying that the UPDF is partisan is archaic, and such should not be tolerated. Because we know when you mismanage the army, you do have mismanaged the state. You look at the history of Uganda. By the way, have never had any peaceful transition of power. And one of the attributors of this is the army. We have had the army coming take over leadership of the country because they were ideologically disoriented. Therefore, it is very important that in our discussions we shouldn't involve so much into the army. Let's leave the army to do its work to protect the boundaries of the country, and then the police does its internal work here.
Take the territorial boundaries of Uganda, and the police do the work internally. So is Kawempe outside Uganda or inside Uganda?
But Bench, one I want to say, whenever we have what we call under operations at any time, when you feel that
So are the actions of JAT justified?
they were justified. Do you know why? NUP is built under the ideology of violence. They are very violent. Even in their mayor, she's
NUP
one
enough.
in a million. She's
So
one in a million.
So she's not NUP enough, you
She's,
say?
Hey,
she's
she's
one
not
in a
NUP
million.
enough.
I am amazed. Maybe we should Moon should engage her and join ANT.
As you see now, you see.
We know by political parties by ideology. We know which party belongs to what. If you want ideology, you come to another. If you want violence, NUP. If you want diplomacy, ANT. We know. Therefore, when we are dealing with NUP, when JAT comes in, we know we are going to deal with hooligans. We are going to do. Didn't you see the videos when they were taking marijuana on cars? Didn't you see?
But
if you didn't see,
we also know. We also
when
know.
they are taking marijuana in the campaign.
We also know.
And you are saying you deal with that person with the police.
You see. It is in
when
the public
you are
domain.
knowing
It is
that
in the
the
public
person you are going
domain.
to deal with is not a usual person. They have already intoxicated their minds. They are taking marijuana.
No, you see,
in the campaign.
even
marijuana
those
for
members
what?
of JAT were intoxicated.
Ah,
Yes,
Now you
we
get
all know,
it,
and it is in the public domain
You see, for
that
me-
the members of the UPDF they take
but my
marijuana
friend, the program
and
is
cut.
for
No,
people. You have
no,
monopolized
it is
the
something
program.
that we know.
No, but Omushuku,
It is something
I don't
that we
why you're
know.
complaining.
It
You've
is
made
something that we
submission.
know.
If there is
okay.
information that is being
But
provided to you, can you accept it?
But he should
Instead
ask
of
me. He
complaining
should
and
ask me
and
that, can I
lamenting.
give you
No.
some
Is
information?
he aware?
And
Is
I
he
have
aware?
civility
Don't
requires
No,
Come on,
so-
microphone.
so is he aware
Re-
that
civil
members of the
requires
members of the UPDF are frequently and on a daily basis admitted to mental hospitals because of drug abuse?
Now, let me say this.
Are you aware of that?
Do you have the report?
Oh, does that take away the fact that some NUP members
Yes.
I have
use
the video
drugs?
here.
No,
I have the
you
video
see,
here.
using
him
drugs
decline
and
and
that
they
gives NUP. Now you see, whether you know how to defend yourselves or you don't. Now it is the right step. If you convene those boys there, don't just convene them to teach them how to make a salute and so forth. Teach them self-defense skills. Because the JAT and the UPDF must know that these boys are not a nobody. They know how to fight.
But then
because
that
every
will-
action
that
has
will
consequences.
create a very
It was-
dangerous
No.
stage.
Because under Article
Because
17,
now-
under Article 17 of the Constitution, it is the duty of every citizen of the Republic of Uganda to learn how to, number one, defend himself or herself first, and number two, to defend the state of Uganda.
Whenever called
And
upon.
that is not a monopoly of the state.
Whenever called upon.
Whenever called upon. And the same provision of the Constitution
have they called
does
upon
not
the NUP to
say
come and
who
defend?
should call upon.
And
But says the
Okay,
state
Okay.
has
let's
let
allow.
me- let me
Yes,
just
Musa.
before Musa comes in.
Yes.
It is very disturbing and heartbreaking for Council Wenje to think it is only NUP that is patriotic or the position that he loves Uganda more than the other people in Uganda, more than the NRM. It is, I think, it is not proper. Are you saying that is only NUP which should only invoke Article 17 to operate?
Now,
So
what
what-
Article 17 says, every citizen of Uganda. NUP is not composed of people from Saudi Arabia,
Okay.
from Afghanistan. It is a people of Uganda. And also, when Museveni went to the bush, why was it him and not me or you?
Okay, let's both of you. Let's allow
Mr. And Council Bwenje, I want to guide you that you are comparing two different scenarios which even don't match. President Museveni went to the bush as a rebel, and one of the things that took him to the bush was to restore the constitutionalization of this nation. And indeed, after 1986, Uganda was restored to its peaceful and democratic values. And as we speak now, the debate here itself shows that Uganda is a democratic state. Because in some states, if such statements, some of us are airing on the air, if Uganda was not democratic, from the studio we would go to jail or would be killed on spot. But because it is a democratic state, people have freedom of speech, people have freedom of expression, and they express their minds. And I think, Council Bwenje, this is the first point you should first appreciate with the government of the Republic of Uganda led by His Excellency the President, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And secondly, as we are heading to 2026 elections, what are these things happening teaching us? It shows us that irrespective of any circumstance, Uganda is in the right hands of the security to secure the territorial boundaries of the state and again to ensure peace continues. So it is the duty of the military. You were saying that the military is not supposed to come in, UPDF is not supposed to come in because it has to look at the bigger picture of securing the territorial boundaries. But I want to guide you that UPDF, its role is to secure the territorial boundaries. One of this of securing territorial boundaries is ensuring that in case of any security threat in any place where police has failed, UPDF must come in. You will not call police to come and uproot bombs to come and fight rebels. No, if it has gone to the level of rebels, it is another case that needs now the UPDF. So I want to call upon my NUP people and all other people of the opposition that please appreciate that democracy is here. That's why you are participating in an election, and that's why NUP in 2021, after winning highest percentage of MPs in parliament, is now the leading opposition party because of democracy. Now, if you want those democratic values to be respected, first of all, respect Ugandans. In whatever you do, know that those Ugandans you want to disrupt, those Ugandans you want to mislead, also have a direction. 2, respect the constitution. 3, respect the military. A military man, when he tells you stop, but he tells you stop, but because you have been energized, you want to come. He's armed. And in conclusion, to me, I think if those guys never had enough what you call psychological intelligence, they are very sharp in mind to reason out situations. Some of them would use bullets to solve such issues. But you can see they are very sympathetic to use sticks and say, please, you are going beyond. Now get a cane and go away. But you still see people still coming to push. And people don't shoot. They shoot in air. So I think we need to appreciate the military of Uganda for being disciplined and obedient to the law.
It's tough. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
If you can't be... The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
We are back. It's 35 minutes past 10 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, good friends. My name is Wesige Banyaji. The Big City is on. And so the numbers to call are 0. I have messages coming in. I can see a couple of messages here. Clifton, who is listening all the way in Charuhanga Ward. I hope I got that right. Charuhanga Road. Yes, Clifton, thank you so much for listening to the show. Manyero Mujuni, who wants to be a counselor. You always listen to the Big Set. I want to appreciate you so much. There is MC Cash, who says Mujugujugu himself is incompetent. I don't understand how he can't take wages submission to be of value. The CDF should resign and subscribe to a party, then participate in partisan politics. The fact that the NRM candidate has no people followers, they wouldn't have called for the police to divert or disturb the NUP. At the moment you want to know that someone is not knowledgeable at all, look at the way he, That's personal. I request that next time, Mr. Cash, you're sending messages, have decorum, you know. You're saying you should make it clear that it's Tango Doi scripting the NRM support. There is no NRM support in Kampala. Let's get to hear from the callers on 752-912-912-1780912-910. The big set.
Yes, Cruise FM.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning, Mr. Council Westige.
Mohedes, are good to hear from you. Happy Women's Day to your mother and everyone there.
Oh, thank you so much. Happy Women's Day to every woman outside there, and my mom as well. It's always a pleasure to have you, Mr. Westige, on the Big City show with those panelists that you have in the studios of Cruise FM. So directly to go to the, I would just like say,
Unfortunately, I've lost you. But I have Andrew Tumsime on Cruise TV who is saying, but why is it that JAT, no one is saying that is in charge of it? Authorities, Baje Ghana, why? You're listening in from Kakoba. Kayongo Zubel at 2 miles, you're saying those people were not security, was bandwagon, masking themselves. They are under which security department, you're asking. Then Mwetise Kenneth, you're in the UAE. Thank you for watching the show. Simon Vega, you're saying first and foremost, I want to know those security guys. Which security department are they? I think everyone's concern is who are these people. But let's get more of the calls on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Mr. Bwenje, it's time for callers. This show doesn't. The big set. On 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Cruise FM.
Yes, good morning, Cruise FM.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is us.
Go right ahead.
I think the NUP people and their president should at least be sympathetic to the life of the young people. They are sacrificing it, just their dream. We all know that Chagwan is just not patriotic, but what he's all about is chasing his dream of becoming a president. He does not care about, because if you try and see the people that were beaten and dragged in the Kawempe, most of them are not from Kawempe even. They are transported from Kampala and Orova to come and cause chaos in Kawempe. For sure, if you try and see, look at how the UPDF were left with no option other than beating or confronting those people. At least they should be peaceful. Thank you, Mr. Banyaji.
All right, to the matter, on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Thank you so much for that feedback. The big set.
Big set, Council Banyaji, my good friend.
Sagaba, good to hear from you, sir.
Yeah, me too, man. Now to the matter. I've been listening as usual to Mr. Tukwatanise Musa. Musa, the problem, he has no information. He's just misinformed the public. I would expect him to inform the public that in 1980, this Bush gorilla went to Bush after losing the election squarely. Because people success is the one who loved Museveni from now until now. But stop imposing to this government, because you know that you will get some personal benefits. And to that RDC, I've never told him that my education has got a lot of problems like the government that accommodated him. I would allow you to request you to allow me tell him in my local language. So RDC, ningamba niwe nkokuna kuba ningamba na president abo kuba president aliyo mkuruzi. Ente ni mpango munonga ka government eje kwa accommodate injire. mukente kepfa bachebera ibango na nenkoro enkoro eri hagati y'amaguru abiri ago mu misho bagira ngu ebyebisheka biri nibyo bikushara mu ngwente bagizike ninga bagike mwene gavumenti yaweji bachebira nkoro na naha ibango bagira ngo bagizike mutagaruka na kutugambara security tagaruka kutugambara n'ubururu sine gavumenti yawe de ko modepinje tukubasa kugiria banyadika ngo mempurikiriye
bariyo nibenda kumanya izina ryawaga mugambe
nibanyita genius agabandi kito rwentu habushenyi district.
Thank you, Agava in Rentuha on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big seat.
Yes, hello.
Yes, you're loud and clear. Go to the matter.
Yeah, I'm called Richard. I called from, I'm here at Cheka. My suggestion is, this position, sometimes I get ugly to them. Sometimes I want to ask them one question. They are using that we mostly are used to be involved in those gangs, but they have not even, if they are fighting against even about like corruption or they are fighting against things that NRM has done, why can't they even create some opposition for those youth, even they get jobs, for example, which industry have already started? Instead of making them to be involved in those such gangs, find that they are fighting to their UPDF for that judge. What are they created to us so that we can also know that these people are very serious? Those people, even they have some money, even they have not created even some job recruitment, labor recruitment, nothing they have even, they are just even using our lives just to be in danger. But if they are very serious about things that they are creating, they should put some like industries or some things that even they are very special to us or which are very special to us. But
let's get your name once again.
I'm called Richard.
Thank you, Richard. Let me get a final call on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set.
Yes, Wanyaji.
Yes, please, what's your name and where are you calling?
Good morning, I'm Kandajire. Inuga sema kungana therapy. Naba mpurikizo mushinga obwe wagamba muheru. Arikwenda kugeza kutuboreka. Ngo abatirwe bobi n'umusambo nyina n'ubabi akera bati mpeka teka kiri giye bigara Uganda nyuma usaso bo iteye bajati amaga kagiye pana polisi yagiye pana so kuma isto umike kumwamchini niyo security yarona bundangara iyo seze no kwireza mu Uganda so nikuvuza ihangane jonaka they organized an election in Kawente. Abantu baruno barunda have not seen any interaction with the NRM candidate. Konko wa NUP, abantu batera, supporters batera. So for sure we don't know where the country is heading. But like Bokutu Gamba, the thinking bot there is no safe zone. Hati ya okte ya mbati yaka gumba kati ya government jiro. Uwira wana yama negwa zilochi kai yanga pena ntugendera.
All right, thank you so much. Let me go to our social media handle, 91.2 Cruise FM on Facebook. A couple of messages are coming in. I can see Joel Jojo, who is saying it's totally worse in Kawempe. Orisha Marcel, you're saying in the 2026 election, we may see the most violent election in Ugandan history. Nuaga Bayuna, you're saying NUP should keep their heads up, but they should be reliably informed. These selfish, arrogant NRM party leaders will never allow them to freely participate in the politics of the country. Nwamanya Edson, you're saying it is a clear indication of what will happen in the coming elections. Sim Habat, you're saying if we really recall the statement for well, Chune, you saying for the incoming election you can only be worried. I can see Ruanyo on the whole is saying your wish is if President Museveni declares officially Uganda is a military state. Derek Kaine, Aime Tarema is saying it speaks a lot of volume because of, first of all security agencies denied who deployed JAT later after the pressure from the public. The 2026 election will be shedding blood and killing of innocent Ugandans. Mwesje Godwin, you're saying that RDC no goodness. We no longer have government to govern the country. Thank you, every person that has been part of the feedback. And let me get to the panel and the feedback. A lot has been said about Mushugu. It's important that I give you leeway to respond to some of the comments.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ndugu Banyaji. One, I want to appreciate the chorus for being on radio and tuning in. This is being patriotic. It's their duty to participate in its discussions because they matter, because they are about them, because they are about the country. So I want to really appreciate them, and especially those who take an extra mile to call and comment and all the rest. We really appreciate you. And what has energized me is that you can see it was a mixture of reactions. Some are saying, in fact, majority of them are saying, no, NUP should stop their hooliganism. Others are saying, others are saying, others are saying that I think the government is
no. That cannot be allowed to stand on the record. That is a twist of the truth. That's a twist of no.
Okay. Patricia, what is the problem?
Yes, I can allow Patricia, but not you. You are very chaotic.
Yes, Patricia, what is the problem?
Actually, our neighbor is interfering with the facts.
Yes.
And we don't want you to interfere with the facts.
No.
The fact is that they are actually saying that actually they are pitying us because they know that we will not win the election because of the way you handle, the way you're handling your issues. So don't interfere and say that we are actually
Patricia, yes. From one caller he has guided that
out of how
Bobi
many
Wine should stop using the youth and
that is one
and
out of
make
how
them
many.
redirect energy to productive things.
Okay, let's now have Mushugu respond.
But nevertheless, is that of course in a democratic nation, it is very hard and difficult to build consensus. In this world of today, it is very hard to build consensus. To get something that works for everyone, it can never be there, and it will not be there. Therefore, these reactions, I treat them, they are normal. We have both who are saying NRM endelea. We have those who are saying I think it is too much, and it's okay. But we will continue to do whatever it takes to make sure at least we try to please everyone, though we shall not be able to please everyone. And I want also to arrest the fears of those people who think we are going to have a violent general election. No, I can assure you, we will. The Electoral Commission has the mandate to deliver on a regular peaceful election, and we are going to deliver it. Then the other point is somebody, one of the callers said that I think it was to Musimi, who said that JAT was disowned by everyone. No, JAT, when the Daily Monitor wrote an article, who are they? General MK retreated. I said they are security officers, and so do not say that we disown them. I think it is said they are
CDF retweeted and cleared the air.
Yes.
On who JAT are.
Yes, so it's saying that people disown. No, it is not true. And factual, we know these are security officers of Uganda that are mandated to protect you. But also, I want to appeal to those young people that are being manipulated by self-seeking Uganda politicians, that be that like they're saying it goes, you must also as before they put you on the forefront. Are they on the forefront? As you are a young man, you are on the forefront. Where are their children? Why are they not for them? They don't want to fight for a better Uganda.
Where was
Moses? Yes.
No.
You see,
where is he now?
Every action has consequences. You see, he joined he entered the bush in 1981 when he was 37 years old. Okay, that is now that speaks to the fact that he was he was not an old man. And even all his people, all his friends, even most of the people who died in the bush, okay, were people between 20, 30, and 40 there. So now there's no difference between what Bobi Wine is doing now and what Museveni did. And the youth of Uganda should know that when he joined when he went and fought and then said later that, I'm not your servant. No. I'm not your servant. When you go and fight,
can I now have the microphone back?
When you go and fight and deliver the people of Uganda, okay, then bring that power back to the people, but don't hold us at ransom.
Yes, I'm going to conclude before I allow Musa and Patricia to indulge.
What he's saying is very unfortunate. Nobody should die in Uganda because of politics. That's the question with our forefathers, the NRI people answered. They went to the bush to answer the political question. We are not having elections here. Remember the December elections of 1980, where the military commission took over the roles of the electoral commission and said to declare Obote. You remember? Then we said, no, we shall not allow that. They went to the bush, they restored sanity, political sanity. We now have an electoral commission that is independent, as you put it, fully charged to handle the mandate of elections, and has always organized regular, fair and free elections. Therefore, no Ugandan should die. You shouldn't allow to be taken on the front line that you are going to fight. To fight what? Uganda, you look at where we have come from, where we are and where we are going. The future is very guaranteed and assured. All you need to do is now to embrace government programs on fighting, for example, poverty, of fighting to make sure you are better than we were yesterday. Because where we are now, the Uganda is secure, is stable, and is moving forward at whatever cost. Like the Baganda say, therefore, now your duty is to understand that nobody is responsible for your poverty, but rather you yourself. Government just comes in as an enabler to help you reach somewhere. Government has constructed roads. Government has brought electricity everywhere. Government has put security everywhere. Your role is now to go and build your country by engaging in productive economic activities. You must have a good service that you are putting on the market, and at the end of the day, you are able to live a very good life. As we go into a middle income status, you should have a role to play, and that role is to ensure you are producing something in the 4-acre model and the 4 sectors we talk about: commercial agriculture, industrialization, services, and tourism, etc. Just big focus on that, and then you wait for the time for elections. Come and elect your leader. You will be assured your leader will be.
You're a very fantastic cadre, and Sovenomics is embedded in who you are as a person. We can Musa Twatanuse. The state and the citizens in electoral participation. We are seeing that the UPDF is now going to be hijacked in managing, in dealing, providing, and reinforcing the police in managing the electoral process. What is your focus in as far as the peace that is required in exercising this democratic right for Ugandans?
First of all, however much African countries claim to be independent, we are not independent. That one, I've always stated it and I will repeat it, that African countries have a problem of not being independent. Wherever, like now we are entering into time of elections, all the international bodies want to infiltrate, and the different political actors, international political actors, want to come in and use some Ugandans to cause violence here and there, to cause upset here and there. And so, it is the role of the state to be vigilant on such political actors. Otherwise, if you want to see majority of the wars in Africa, they are not they don't start from within the country. They are always international influenced. That's why I will credit the role of the security in coming in to secure the territorial boundaries of the country. And how will it do it? Whenever there is a leakage that any international body is coming in to maybe fund or support the opposition or even the NRM to cause chaos here and there, the UPDF and the sister forces must come in to discipline. But on record, I must state, and I've stated it, that NRM restored democratic values. That's why my sister here is saying she's contesting on a NUP ticket. We saw it in recent by-elections. Candidates are presented, and NRM has lost, and somewhere NRM has won. So I have always said it here that people should rub this mind of already thinking that in an election, opposition should win. Come to the election knowing that you are all competing to win, and whoever wins, love. That's why that's why currently the Parliament of Uganda has the opposition chamber and the ruling chamber. If it was not the case, the whole Parliament would be NRM.
Okay.
So where do those MPs come from? It is because we have the free and fair elections. People go through elections, win or lose. So and lastly, my brother, I also want to caution on this. We saw it in Kanungu recently, rather in Kisoro, when there was a by-election. We saw Bob Wine ferrying people from Kampala to Kisoro. And people said, oh, this gathering is so massive. But eventually, in the box, there were no elections. So are they complaining that there were no votes? Are they complaining that Kisoro votes were rigged? So people should understand that elections, you must have grassroots structures to sustain an election, like what NRM with President Museveni has done. And I can assure you in 2026, NRM is winning because we have fully functioning structures of PRU, of NRM Secretariat, and ONC, all of them mobilizing for His Excellency the President. Okay, there is no way we can lose an election.
Yeah, Patricia, how ready are you for the 2026 election? As a party and as members of the NUP?
Well, thank you very much, Banyanji. For us, we are prepared actually. We are prepared to stand out against the dictator, to stand out against these gunmen. We will stand out for everything, for anything. Now take an example. My posters were being pulled down. That is a way to show me that you're not allowed here. But we are going to put other posters there. We'll go back to Ibanda South and put other posters and even put porridge on them, so that they are not even, if they are cut in a halfway. Yes. So we are not going to use nails again. We are going to use porridge and stick it to the tree completely. So I would encourage the youth, let us stand out and face the dictator. Let us rise up and
let's allow Patricia. Yes, Patricia, conclude.
Let us stand out and defend our country, and this goes to all women. Let us rise up to these places in political space. We shall manage. Okay. That's what I can say.
Thank you, Patricia.
Let me say something. Something about the JAT. Now, I do not have any assurance that it is not JAT which murdered Habiriga. I don't have an assurance that it is not the one which shot Katumba Wamara. I don't have an assurance that it is not the one which murdered Sanyanga Zebra. I don't have an assurance that it is not the one which has been killing the sheikhs. So because it is not, it has no structure, you don't see their faces, you don't actually even have an idea if they are human beings. It is just as if they are robots or something else. So I don't have any assurance that they are not the ones who have been killing people in massacre. Okay, so we have that kind of doubt.
But let me ask
we have officers.
A simple question.
Yes.
A simple question. Recently, when Bob Wine came here at Boma, there were 2 cars of Jati that came following him. Why is it that time nothing happened? Even when he was making his counter tours, those JAT people were following him because their role is joint anti-terrorism. If they detect any kind of terrorism anywhere, they must act. So now the question is, why do you think when he was making counter tours, because he was, even if you check in the pics, those JAT people were following him closely, detecting any kind of terrorism. But now this situation in Kawempe and starting from the NUP offices was a security threat situation. Parading, doing what?
You see, now is NUP a terrorist organization? Why should you follow NUP?
Oh.
Okay, so does JAT follow the convoys of the President Museveni?
Definitely.
Where?
Okay, thank you. Let me have Omushugu conclude and we get out of studio.
To begin with, I want to thank you on behalf of my colleagues here for hosting us and being a very impartial moderator. You have equally moderated very well and look forward to continuing having the same conversations. I want to thank my sister Patricia and I want to urge her to embrace the movement. The NRM, if you can. The NRM will have, there are very many seats in the bar. They will accommodate you. And the same case to my brother. Then to you, the listeners, I want to thank you very much. And I want to reassure you on behalf of government now that as the government of Uganda, we are committed to ensuring you prosper.
But maybe Omuzuguju with a very last question. Is it possible for the state to allow the opposition conduct business just like the NRM?
Now,
why don't you allow these young men and women to campaign freely and just provide the security that is required?
To answer your question, it was us, the government, that in 2005 organized what we call a referendum to bring in the multi-party system of dispensation, to bring in the political parties. Remember, we are in the movement system. I have told you time and again, if we never wanted the political parties to operate, wouldn't have allowed it, would have mobilized against going into the multi-party system of the dispensation. But wanted to give people an opportunity to exercise their rights politically, to belong wherever they feel like. And we passed the law. The law is here. Government is going to implement it. Do you know? But I think for you, to a level you know, government funds opposition. Government of Uganda funds opposition with billions and billions of money to operate. I have told you before here and again that we cannot kill our own child. We love our child. Also, because there are things that we may not be able to say as people in the government or as people in the NRM. But these are our people here. They will help us to point them out. And then we act on them. I will give an example. In 2001 or 2006, Dr. Kizza Besigye came out and said, we no longer want the overhead tax that was killing people.
Tax.
Yes, graduated tax. And we had. And government responded and removed that task. And that's the opposition we cherished.
In a second, if you look at what is happening in Kenya, Raila Odinga and His Excellency Ruto have come on board to say, no, please, we need to look at Kenya beyond our eyes and our interests. And they have signed an agreement to work together.
Yes. Conclusively, at the end of the day, we all want a better Uganda.
Okay,
and the NRM is willing to continue providing a better Uganda.
Thank you, Council.
For everybody. Thank you very much for having me. And my name is Moses Omushugu, the Assistant RDC Mbara District, and I was really humbled to be here.
Okay, thank you, Moses Omushugu. Thank you, Deus Didit Bwenje. Thank you, Patricia Kenyanje, and thank you, Musa Tkwatane. You've been fantastic company. My name is Wesley Gibanyaji. Let's meet next Saturday on the big seat. We have news at the top of the hour. God bless you.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of this radio station or its management.
This radio is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission, UCC.